Okay, hello again, my friends. So after doing the Lindsey Graham video, I got a lot of feedback about American politics, and I recognize that some of you are not interested in American politics. That's perfectly fine, not a problem. But if you are interested in understanding it, I want to show you something. So here, if you go to my page, it's just essentially YouTube at Dr. Gerdes. What you'll see is things are organized in a particular way. The most recent videos are here, then followed by the most popular videos, then collaborations with YouTubers such as Georgie or Starsky or Jonathan Fink from Silicon Curtain. And then the next one is reaction videos like Scott Ritter or Richard Medhurst or Colonel McGregor. And then you have the section of American politics related to Ukraine explained. Now, I don't talk about American politics except to talk about what affects Ukraine. But there are two that I really want to point out. If you go all the way to the end of the American politics section, I have this Republicans and Ukraine, and it explains the difference between the way that Republicans, like conservatives, see things and the way that populists see things. And I go through Pew Research and Gallup and all that to show how on the scale that we actually come out very differently within the Republican Party. Now, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, and so I think differently than maybe some liberals, but we all agree that Ukraine should be defended. Now, let's go all the way over here and you'll see this video is also very important. Why people believe conspiracy theories. And I think Republicans are more prone to believing conspiracy theories partly because they're used to alternative media. So I talked about this in the last few videos and I got a lot of questions, and that's why I'm saying this now. Go see these two videos, okay? And I'll put the links below so that, and I'll put it in a pinned comment, the link to each of these videos. Please go see these if you have questions about it, because conservatives tend to be more used to alternative media, and that's because they don't like the mainstream media narrative. And I get that, but there's a difference between facts and narrative, and if you can sift through whatever is in the narrative to the facts, the mainstream media is far more reliable, generally speaking, than some alternative source. But conservatives are more used to that. So these two videos will be remarkably helpful to you if you want to understand how that works. Again, I'm trying to answer your questions, and the reason that I'm shooting this video about my videos, which is a little weird, is because I have a lot of new viewers who have only joined me over the last few weeks. And because of that, I want to introduce you to this because I keep getting the same questions like, are Republicans really divided? I'm from the UK and I see it this way. Or I'm from, like, I know that my audience is about 30% from America, and then 15% or so from the UK, and then a little bit from Canada and Australia, and then that's about half of the population, and then the other half is the rest of the world. So if you want to understand American politics, this is the kind of thing that you should be watching to help understand it, okay? So I hope that helps you, and if you have other questions, I'm more than willing to introduce them or answer your questions. There's one more thing that I talked about earlier. Somehow, and I can't track down which video it was in, so I'm going to try to explain it here. Somehow we got on this discussion a while back in a Q&A about how, so conservatives tend to be the hawkish party more often than not, and liberals tend to be the doves more often than not. But it somehow is weirdly flipped where liberals, those on the left side of the spectrum, tend to have more interest in Ukraine than conservatives, and that's partly because of the populists that I talked about. But it's partly because, as they described it, this isn't me describing it, but as I asked my liberal viewers in my audience, like, why are you so behind Ukraine? Well, we see Ukraine as a victim. And I said, wow, that's really interesting, because the way that I process it is I see Russia as a bully, and that bully needs to be stopped, because otherwise the bully keeps doing what bullies do. And so, and the conservatives tended to resonate with that. So it's funny how we do the math differently, but we get to the same conclusion. Whether you're a conservative or a liberal, you tend to get to the conclusion that Russia must be stopped from bullying its neighbor as the victim. And so that's what I mean by the distinctions between them. So I'm not trying to propagate or cause you to want to become a conservative. That's not my goal. My goal is to support Ukraine. And whether you're left, right, or center, or nowhere on the political spectrum, if you support Ukraine, you are home here. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being the kind of person that supports Ukraine.